Hello, hello, Sarah.
Hey dear,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Looks like we've got a few people in here.
Awesome.
But I know the notification just went out, and I'm just going to get this up on
Mhm.
my phone
Perfect.
because I do not have a moderator because it's not my normal night, and
Right.
I want her to sit back and relax.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I texted her and said, just sit back and relax.
Nice. I
But
actually have it pulled up on my like a computer in front of me too, which I don't know if I've done that during a live before, so I can actually see the comments because I can't do it on the screen up here. It's too much for me.
it's too much for me too. It's too
Yeah.
much for me too. Ooh, let me pause that just so I have that chat on. Hey there, Spartman. How are you? Hope you're doing well. No, we did not have any storms. We had the other ones I was telling you about. I did the video on, but none today. They kind of skirted us. Hey there, David Hunt. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Craig. Hope you're doing well.
And that next one's me.
I know it's you. Hey, Sarah.
Oh, hi.
So this is not our usual night to go live, but and I'll explain why we're doing this, but it just worked with mine and Sarah's schedules because
Mhm.
Sarah is a mom, a wife, a homesteader,
Mhm.
a you name it, Sarah is it, and
Oh,
life gets busy, right? She's a
yeah.
content creator, and so was just trying to work around her schedule, and I felt this was something important. Um, so just a reminder that like we may talk about things, you may disagree, and that's okay. Just be respectful.
Mhm.
But we're really just gonna, and it's not complaining or whining, it's just reality, I think, for a small YouTuber, and maybe
Mhm.
help some smaller YouTubers who kind of feel that way, maybe. Because I know Sarah and I agree on a lot of things, and then I think there's probably some other things that maybe we disagree on.
Yeah.
Um, because it's pretty normal for people to have different thoughts and stuff like that.
Right. And
If you're
different
watching,
experiences too.
I'm sorry, please say that again.
And different experiences too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And people saying hi to you in the chat. Hey, Holman's Homestead, thanks for being here. Oh, Sparkman, I'm sorry. That's annoying with a mower. Um, so why this? First of all, if you're watching on the replay, we really appreciate you being here and coming by and checking this out. And again, you may disagree with us. This is just how we see it.
Mhm.
So Sarah did a video um, on being a small YouTube content creator, and
Mhm.
we are friends, and we met on YouTube,
Mhm.
and it really struck a nerve in me um, because I liked how she put it. So what I'm going to do is, Sarah, turn it over to you and have you
Sure.
talk about a little bit about your video. I did put the link in the description box, and I also had, I think I put it somewhere in the chat. So,
Oh, awesome.
hey, Love the Land. Hey, LP.
Mhm.
So, hey, Annie. So go ahead and tell us about your video.
Okay, sure. So I should have rewatched it, but it's a fairly short video, but it's titled it like Imposter Syndrome. Am I cut out for this? And basically talking about kind of behind the scenes on the emotional part of what it means to like put yourself out there in content creation. We make videos, and everybody does it for different reasons or whatnot, and has different goals. And it's, I guess, the emotional part of it is, I guess, kind of having maybe this like unspoken expectation of yourself or what you're looking to get out of it. And if it doesn't happen in a specific timeline, or if you're seeing other people like kind of pass you up in the goals that you were hoping to achieve, it really messes with your head. And so my video is really kind of touching on that and touching about how like like imposter syndrome is like diving into something that maybe you don't feel like you're qualified for, or that maybe you don't feel like you have enough to share, or you're not good enough at it, or whatnot. And so these feelings of like self-doubt creep in. And I don't think a lot of content creators talk about that part of it. And so really, essentially, in a nutshell, that's kind of what my video is touching on, and my personal feelings and experience in the 2.5 years that I've been diving into this a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, beautifully said, because you captured the essence of the entire video. And yeah, I mean, because I think I don't know about you, but for me, when I first started, I was by myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was by myself. Had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was to document our journey of building our homestead.
Yeah.
Well, and at that time, we were both working full time, doing the homestead. We were also building it. So we're talking about 3 solid years of all the projects we were doing all the time.
Yeah.
Never a lack of content. Fast forward to now, I'm not doing all that anymore.
Right.
The one great thing about it, I mean, there's several, but the one really great thing about it was I had a friend say to me, and I did a video probably early on in this where she said to me, you know, I posted a video so that this is all of our goals for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And she went back and watched it and said, "Do you realize you met all your goals?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Go back and look at your older videos because they are inspiring
Mm-hmm.
to yourself to see how far you've come in the homestead journey, not so much the YouTube journey."
Mm-hmm. Which is a great way to document what you're doing. Like, and that's really cool that she pointed it out, because in that moment, maybe you didn't necessarily realize, oh, I did accomplish so much here. But we get so wrapped up in it, and we have a hard time, I think, giving ourselves credit for what we did accomplish.
Right.
And I think doing content creation is this great way of not only sharing it with other people, but documenting it for yourself. And even
Right.
for like myself, I have kids. Like, it's cool to look back on a video from 2 years ago, and I'm holding our littlest, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
she's so little. Like, it's just so crazy. So it's a really cool way to document all that.
It is. It truly is.
Mhm.
And I think the other part is, I know for me, when I started, I thought, oh, it'll be fun to do, but we'll
Mhm.
probably never achieve much at all,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Then I got tied into the community,
Mhm.
and I want to say the fever hit,
Oh yeah.
right? The fever hit in the community, and I had people telling me all these things. Some of it I really, really appreciated.
Mhm.
Some of it I look back on and wish I never listened to.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a bad way, because the
Mhm.
person was genuinely trying to help me with what they knew
Right.
at the time. And I even passed that information on to smaller YouTubers, and I'm like, uh, um, and I think you're getting the gist of what I'm talking about, but I don't think we're ready to go there just yet. But
Mhm.
when we finally, I mean, I remember getting the fever and going fast and furious. Like, the videos were coming out, the content was there.
Yeah.
There was no having to think about anything because it really was there.
Mhm.
Fast forward to now, it's kind of hard. But then when we hit it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Talk about a side hustle, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And once you get monetized, a lot of people stop watching.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. I haven't experienced that yet.
Well, and we'll touch on that later
Yeah.
again, but it comes from that community building and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
at some point, hey there, love the land. I think I said hello to you. Hey, Bland's Promised Land Ranch, welcome in.
Hey, Monica.
And again, like I said, this is my perspective.
Mhm.
For me, it became exhausting and overwhelming
Yeah.
to constantly be supporting other friends.
Mhm.
to the point where I had to say, this is not what I want for my retirement. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting things done. I'm watching YouTube all day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I stepped back. I took a very large step back. And that impacted the channel as well.
Oh yeah,
Right?
YouTube, the algorithm does not like that. You take a break, it's like, nope, we're not even touching any of your videos anymore. It's like,
Yep. And
you don't care
that's
about us, we
fine.
don't care about you.
And that's fine. That's fine. I
Right.
knew that risk, and
Mhm.
that's fine. But I mean, I stepped back on a lot of different areas
Yeah.
for my own sanity because it wasn't
Absolutely.
creating the life that I wanted, which was the whole purpose of me retiring early, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep.
So, mind you, how big of a YouTube channel are we? I'm grateful for every little bit we get. I want that clear. But I want to tell you, we get paid twice a year, and there's $100 threshold.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? Not a
Right.
lot of money. However, goal achieved, right? Because my goal always was whatever that money was would go towards my animals.
I love it.
Right?
Yep.
Because whatever I could earn would go to my animals. And I'm in awe, because I don't know 27 or what is it, 2,750 subscribers that we have now. I don't know that many people.
Right.
I have met some amazing people on YouTube, like you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
So with all that being said, I just want to go to the chat real quick. Hey, Northern Girl Hobbies. Thanks, Jen. Life before social media, always. Amen, girl.
Yeah.
Hey, CB Huga Homestead. Hey, Love the Land. I agree. Hey, Tina, Life in the Piedmont. Welcome. Thanks for being here. And Love the Land said I started a YouTube channel for my kids and grandchildren to have memories and recipes to look back on. And I love that. That was why we did it, was to look back on our journey and other people could see it. Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Some folks only want to help you get monetized, then they leave you. Yep. And that's, that's okay. The reason why I say all of this, right, and me backing off from the community is what, as a YouTube small content creator, sometimes you really want to be more popular. I can speak for myself. I don't want to be famous. I've had reels go crazy, and they're nothing like the reels you've had go crazy, Sarah. But I've had reels go crazy.
Just this last one I posted. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot that does that.
Or shorts, and the trolls come out, and that's not something I want in my life.
Yeah.
Right. But what would be nice is a little more of the funding to be able to add to the family.
Right.
Would be great. That's my goal.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to be rich or anything like that.
Right.
Let me just see here. Oh, here we go. Holman's Homestead says, what gets me over the past few days, a lot of our views are taken away. One video went from 139 down to 40, really depressing. Yes, I have noticed the same exact thing.
Yeah, why is it doing that?
I've noticed it a lot, and the only thing I can assume, and again, it's an assume, is what they do with subscribers, where they remove the bots and stuff like that. Was it a bot view? Okay. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, that's a big difference, though. I wonder, that sounds, I don't know what that is.
Hey, Andale. Hey, Nick. Good to see you, Nick. He said, I'm so out of the loop on this community. There's trolls even for homesteaders. Yes, there are. Yeah, I don't know either, but it's crazy. So talk a little bit about, your experiences and, ups and downs for you.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess just touching on what you said too is, I guess a lot of people, I do notice that there is a lot of creators in the chat here. So a lot of these people are experiencing, being in, whether it's the Facebook groups or whatnot for content creators. There's different ones for, small YouTube homesteaders and just homesteaders or whatnot. And being initially like intertwined in those groups is really encouraging, and it is super awesome to meet like all of these people. Like I've actually personally talked to, some of the people in the chat. I'm so grateful to have met you, Lisa. And again, it's nice and encouraging to have the group of people who are on a similar path as you. Now, when it comes to, like, I guess starting a YouTube channel and establishing your why, that can change throughout the process. And so initially, when I started my channel, I didn't really understand how YouTube worked necessarily. And I kind of was like, well, when I go on there and I'm seeking information about homesteading, I'm only getting recommended like these huge channels. And I'm like, well, I want to be like a newbie and show people that you can, start from nothing. Like we weren't handed down anything. We don't have, a big bank account or things like that to really get rolling. And so I wanted to kind of be that like beginning point for somebody to kind of like follow along with and be encouraging in that, and as well as documented for myself as well. And so having that initial like thought and mindset going into it, and then realizing how YouTube works, that's like, oh, there is a ton of other small YouTube homesteaders in here. But YouTube just isn't showing me them. So then you realize, okay, you're in these tight-knit groups of communities. People want to encourage each other to, to get monetized or whatever their goals are. Again, which is great, and you meet all these great people. But it's hard to actually like kind of break away from that. Not that I want to leave the people behind, but you have to, if you're on here to create like an audience, I think it's hard when you're connecting with, I don't know how to put it into words, you're connecting with other content creators. And I think sometimes for myself, I forget that I want to connect with the people who are just starting their journey too, and aren't even necessarily even doing it yet, or just thinking, maybe I could do that. So it's just for me, it's been trying to figure out how to connect and relay my information so that people feel welcome. And that's, I know you and I have talked about this, and just being super like real and like not super overly polished. I do watch or listen to a lot of different homesteaders. Sometimes it's to learn about the homesteading aspect. Sometimes it's to learn about what are they doing in their videos that's really good, like to learn about content creation. So I watch different people for different reasons. And sometimes just trying to like take notes and try to figure out like how can I do that better. And so, and trying to figure that out, sometimes we can lose ourselves and we try to like mimic other people too much. And I think my first year doing this, so I started in 2022. My first year was just trying to figure out how to record, how to talk to the camera. And I was really goofy and silly. And that's just me. That's who I am. I'm just kind of a nerd. And then the second year, I feel like I lost some of that, and it definitely shows in my connection to like people. It shows in the way I communicated information. It shows in my views. It shows in my subscribers. It shows all over the board for 2023. And then realizing that and kind of trying to figure out how can I get back to like what I came on here for, because ultimately that's where my heart is just being me, being authentic, and just sharing the journey, and not necessarily worrying too much about the type of videos I'm putting out there. Well, definitely, I still have goals, but I realize that is not worth it for me to give up the enjoyment aspect of it just to reach those goals. And so just trying to find a balance of all of it. And that's kind of been my struggle over the time.
I agree. And I think sometimes we deal with the same things over and over, right? As homesteaders, right? Janet Northern Girl Hobby said 100%, Sarah. And we do the same thing over and over and over again. We don't think twice about it, right? Say, let's use Bumblefoot, right?
Yeah.
You got a chicken with Bumblefoot, or you got a chicken with a poopy butt, and you talk about the dangers of that and how to handle it, right?
Yeah.
Then they tell you should go back and do that video again.
Right.
For me, that's the last thing I want to do.
Right.
Because it's there. If you're interested and you Google it, if it comes up, it comes up.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it because now I have twice as many subscribers.
Right.
Because I feel like then I'm asking you know what I mean? It just feels weird to me. Other times, I think you talked about vlogs a bit in your video too.
Oh yeah.
Like doing vlogs, and people all say they want to watch vlogs, but they don't. They don't. They probably watch 2 minutes of it and they're off.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like this again, not a complaint. You're never going to see polished from me. You're never going to see country girl dresses. You're going to see me with my hair sticking out. I'm going to look the way I am. I'm going to talk. I'm going to stutter. I'm going to stumble because that's me.
Yeah, totally.
I'm never going to be polished because I don't want to be that polished person. I had to do that my whole life when I was in corporate America. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So, you know, that's one of the things too. And I'm looking at, Monica said, we love finding new friends in this community, but it can be hard with this massive platform. Very true.
Yeah.
And Dale said, it's very hard to build an audience with non-YouTube creators, just a consumer. We love our friends. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, we all post shorts and the shorts go crazy. And then, you know, they never come back to your channel.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's where I'm at. Where I'm at is you come, you watch, fine. You don't like it, don't watch.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know?
Absolutely. It is really interesting how some of that stuff works too, because like you said, people will come by and they watch and then they don't come back or they don't subscribe or whatever. It is funny to me because I don't have much that has like, you know, an extravagant amount of views, but just on Instagram last week, I posted a reel, which I also posted over to YouTube. And the different platforms respond very differently. On Instagram, the same reel with it has different music, but it's the same footage. It has like 600 and some thousand views, like over 500,000 views.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure I got 2 new like like followers from that, which is so funny to me because it's like that kind of stuff can get in your head as a content creator. Like, because you're like, well, why don't you like any of my other stuff? I make really yummy food. Doesn't that look good to you?
Yeah. And I think
it's so funny.
think that sometimes the platforms are very different, right? And I've read up on this because I used to think, why should I post it across platforms? Because the same people are going to see the same one 3 or 4 times. But they say no. So I said, okay, so I'll give you an example. I posted a short recently of, and this is not common. I posted a short recently of Grant and Norman sitting for supper. 18.8K views on Instagram, pretty instantly.
Yep.
And I got to go back to look, but on YouTube, they got 11K views.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But I can tell you other ones where I had hate.
Yeah.
For like a stupid hack about cutting the electric cord off your bowl. And they sit there and people getting angry and all that stuff. And I was like, you can still use the bowl. Common sense, I realized, but I was trying to do something. And that got a ton of views on Instagram. And then it ended up getting some views on YouTube, but the more people got mad about it, they kept watching it.
Isn't that funny?
You know,
it is really interesting. It's definitely in my opinion, different audiences and different reactions. And to me, it's kind of like you don't know what's going to hit and what's not. Like it's almost like I don't really know what they want from me.
Right. Yeah. Let me just go to the comments real quick. Shorts of the media of the current world. Unfortunately, the viewer retention from those is deplorable because the watchers want what they saw in that minute clip over and over. You're right. Homan's Homestead said, It made my day a while back. A guy I work with, his wife is a nurse. She watches 2 special needs children, and she said they absolutely love our channel. They really perk up and really like our driving.
Aw,
That's
that's awesome.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Monica said we bomb on IG. The same videos do terrible over there that do amazing on YouTube. So dumb. Agreed.
So interesting.
It's
And I
it's di- different algorithms. Let me just finish one real quick. Northern Girl got off Instagram, said it's a big relief. Hey, Jan, hope you're doing well. Let me just see if there's anybody else real quick. Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
All I was going to say to that was, and I guess when it comes to like looking at these stats, and again, what are your followers or what are your subscribers wanting? It really has to go back to always back to the origin. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this, you know, not only what are the reasons, but staying true to yourself again. You know what I mean? Because it's like, again, okay, I need to post what I want to post and not worry so much about what they want. Because the right people are going to find you and they're going to like you. It just might take a little longer, and that's okay. Yeah.
I will say this. I posted a raw footage one of us trimming the pig hooves. I'm glad I did it a few years ago because I don't know how it would go now. We're older and it's a little harder. But and we had posted that raw footage, and you know, we were prepared and we said, hey, they're not being hurt because people think you're hurting them. And I said, they're not being hurt. This is the way it's done, and you'll watch, they'll submit. Hey, Frontier Survival, hope you're doing well, Heath. And it was just funny because those are one of the videos that keep getting views.
Yeah.
But I can agree with that. Like, I've totally strayed here and there from things and I regret it. Right. And now it's like I post when I can. Right. Because it's not about again being rich. It's just about posting. You know, and like I said, I'm not going to repeat the Bumblefoot thing and all that stuff. And I try to post reality, but there's not a lot of projects going on right now.
Right. Well, and sometimes, especially in the summer, you know, things just need to get done. You know, when it comes to whether it's gardening or, you know, tending to animals or, you know, depending if you're building things or whatnot, it takes so much more time to bring the camera out, set it up, try to get a shot. For me, like, try to tell my kids, hey, I'm going to film this. Can we try not to like interrupt a zillion times? Like, it takes so much more time. And so there's plenty of times that I just go out and I'm like, just got to get done. No videos happening this week. Maybe try to hammer out 2 next week to, you know what I mean? So like, just when you constantly have that content creation in the back of your mind, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it can almost like, I don't know, inhibit you from being able to be productive. And I don't want to be that either. And I need to be able to find the balance. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now is for a year, I posted at least one video every single week. I only missed 1 week that whole year. And then last year, I wasn't as strict with myself, but I still tried to post every single week. This year, I was like, well, that was causing too much like overwhelm because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a video on Thursday. It's like nobody's waiting for your video anyway. It's okay. You post when you can post, and they'll watch it if they want to watch it.
That's right.
That's what I've gotten into my head this year is I've tried to be a lot more relaxed with it, tried to get that like excitement back for it, you know, because I do thoroughly enjoy making videos. I think it's a creative outlet for me, and it's something like I have kind of a creative brain, and so in order for me to to exercise that and be happy with that, this is definitely an avenue that I found that I really enjoy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good night, Holman's Homestead. Good night, Tina, Life in the Piedmont. Hello, Sage and Stone Homestead. Hope you're doing well. That brings me to another point. So when I started, I was using my phone. That's all I had. I didn't even have a laptop to edit on.
Yeah, I do everything on my phone.
God bless you, because I got tired of that real quick and bought a laptop.
Yeah.
And my husband bought me a GoPro.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how technology changes so fast, but it's also pricey. That
Mm-hmm.
brings me to the other point with the small YouTuber, right?
Mm-hmm.
I use my phone more now instead of the GoPro. Why? Because it's got 4K on it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas 4K is the desirable shoot. Whereas the GoPro now is antiquated, my version anyway. But it made it a lot easier for me using the GoPro. But if you think that for what we get paid, if I'm gonna keep updating my equipment to match the demand, I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing with we recently got rid of our PO box. And the reason why I did is, apparently mine was pretty cheap. I thought it was pretty expensive because I never get PO boxes.
Yeah.
But it was like upwards of $100. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is not worth it.
Right.
So, and tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I was absolutely, I mean, the overhead going into it, I use my phone for everything. And some of that's for like sheer convenience. I have my phone with me. I can't really edit at home. I don't really have quiet time to sit down in front of a computer. And so when I edit, I'm doing it like at work, like when I have, 30 minutes here or whatever. I'm just editing in random spots where I can. And so having it on my phone allows the flexibility to do that wherever. So as far as like even upgrading like for a camera at some point, that would definitely be like way down the road because the overhead for that alone, I mean, that can get expensive. The only things that I've actually really bought for this, I've bought in a couple little mics, and I don't even always use them because I forget to charge them. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to risk it dying in the middle of me recording. So, and I've bought in a few like tripods. One of them has a light. Again, I never use it. Like I very rarely bust that one out. And so I don't actually, I'm not monetized yet. And so everything I have put in, I mean, maybe it's like maybe $250, like really not much at all. But I'm still at a loss on that, So when it comes to investing a bunch of money into it, I really don't find it necessary until you get to a point where you can justify, not turning it around. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I was talking to Sage and Stone. Like they say, a lot of people want 4K. They don't want to, look at the lower quality versions. And I'm not targeting that audience. However, like you won't reach newer people. Some of them is what they're saying.
Right. I don't even really know what that means.
I know enough, but not enough, if that makes sense. It's not a big difference between 1080p, but a lot of people really are pushing the 4K.
Okay.
Are saying that that's the way it should be and all that. Again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but we're just talking about that point is all.
Absolutely.
Oh, I stay in the red in Dale.
Yeah, so and obviously when it comes to like quality, there is going to be a different level of or different people that are going to be a lot more particular about what type of content they want to watch. If you have really bad audio, they might click off. If they can't hear you, if there's too much wind, stuff like that. Which is why I've tried to get better with my audio because I do realize that is pretty important.
Right.
But that's also something that's hard too because with kids in the background, those little mics, those pick up me breathing. They pick up like if I brush against my shirt. Like the other day I was just walking across the yard and like I'm fairly fit. I work out a lot and I was like huffing and puffing. I was like, it's in the mic. I'm like, I'm really not out of breath. It just sounds like I am.
Well, I am ever since the whole COVID complications thing.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff jacks with your lungs for sure.
So yeah, you know what I mean? Hey, Dark Lord Bennett. And yes, Simply Jan, I agree. That's we agree with that stuff, just being who we are. We were talking about that actually in the beginning. And we're not saying that we want to be anything but genuine. We're actually talking about sometimes just being genuine. People don't want to see it because you're not their cup of tea for whatever reason.
Right.
And that's fine. Hey, Alfonso, good to see you.
something that I find, this is what I've really tried to like project into, like when I do this. Okay, if you were to show up at my house on any random Tuesday, this is what you get. So when you see me on the screen, this is what you get. You're not going to get some fake version of me, because that's just, I
Yep.
just can't do that. And I don't
I
appreciate
can't.
that either. When I see other people like that, and I'm just like, I can kind of tell you're putting on a show, and that's just, it's a turnoff for me. But some people like that. They like the really like proper polished, but then in person they can be kind of maybe snotty or
Yeah.
standoffish. You know, that's just, I don't know, that's just not my jam.
Like I said earlier, like you're gonna see me with my hair out.
Mhm.
You're gonna see me with stains on my shirt.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see me in whatever I'm wearing that day. I don't worry about if I had outfit changes or not, because a pig peed on me, a piglet peed on me or not. I don't care, because to
Yep.
me it's all about being who I am
Yeah.
and doing what we do, and that's all there
Mhm.
is to it. And that's goes back to the whole Bumblefoot thing. Like, I'm not going to do 50 videos on the same thing,
Right.
right? And there's some weeks I don't want to do content because I don't feel like I have anything I can offer somebody, and I don't want to waste their time.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
I do my live because there's a lot of folks who come each week who are very sweet, very kind,
Mm-hmm.
and tell me they look forward to it. And some weeks I'm like, why do you look forward to this?
I
Right?
love our Friday Night Lives. When my kids, like my kids on Friday night, they earn video game time and they get that on Friday nights. And so if my youngest goes to bed early enough, I always tune into your live. Even if I don't say anything, I almost always am listening in the background. I look forward to it. I love your
I,
live on Fridays.
I feel like I ramble too much, but
No, it's just real and authentic, and a community. You have a community here that
right,
shows up every week, and that's awesome. I think that's great.
right, absolutely. And I mean, and that's the thing too. I think that um oh, I'm trying to get it across in my head. It's great for community, but I also love when somebody new comes to the channel.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
And for example, I just had somebody come to the channel recently, who actually yesterday, and left a
Mhm.
comment and said, we're doing our first meat bird processing, and this video was super helpful about
Mhm.
what tools you used.
Yeah,
Because I did something like, these are, for us, these are must-haves,
yeah,
right? And
right.
to me, I think that's really important. Sometimes I like that the older videos of our projects are reaching people over
Mhm.
and over and over again,
Mhm.
because I think that that's really helpful.
Yeah, those evergreen content, the things that people are searching for that you delivered really well on. And that's always encouraging when you have somebody new come to the channel and be like, this was a really helpful video, or I didn't know this, that you really taught me something today. Like those are the best comments. I'm always so grateful when people actually take the time to
Yep.
comment things like that, because otherwise we don't know. We
And
have no
and
idea.
here's another good example. Somebody turned around and said, "Well, it's been 3 years. How's the pig waterer going?"
Mhm.
And I
Really?
said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, quite honestly, the waterer was fine."
Yeah.
I said, "I tried everything with
Mhm.
slapping peanut butter on the nozzle for the
Mhm.
pigs to push it and use it, and I never could get them to use it. And the
Yeah.
hardest part was, once we would have gotten them to use it, the darn pigs couldn't have used it in the winter because it would have froze with the
Oh,
lever." And it's just funny because somebody commented, like, "It's been 3
yeah.
years. How did it go?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"These are the problems we had. The pigs wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
We smeared molasses, we smeared peanut butter, we did all
Mhm.
this stuff, tried to show them.
Mhm.
Nobody would do it." So it's a shame because that was our plan and
Mhm.
it changed.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have known that because it was added into another video
Right.
where I said that it didn't work out,
Right. That makes
you
sense.
know?
But yeah, that follow-up is really awesome too, and people have invested enough time to remember that or to think, "Oh, hey, I wonder how that went for them."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So in preparation for tonight, there was one thing that I did. I watched a video
Mhm.
from vidIQ, and
Mhm.
I've watched them before, but I try not to watch them now. because I find that they're clickbaitish and not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Or they explain things and I'm still in the dark because I don't get it. But they talked about how the feed works and everything, right? And anyone who's done any research on how the algorithm and the feed works, I'm not going, oh, the algorithm is against me. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying, though, is that they change that algorithm very frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I saw said it was recent, and they were talking about the algorithm will show you, like YouTubers were saying they were playing favorites, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that's true to some extent because people are watching it. My feed has a lot of things that I don't watch at all in it, and I don't know why, which I find very strange. Now, Holman's Homestead will come up in my feed, Sage and Stone, like that kind of thing. But they often show me things that I've never even looked at.
Yeah.
And won't look at.
Right.
And they'll show them from a large channel and a small channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. And so just when I think that I kind of understand how the algorithm works, something else happens and then I'm like, nope, okay, I don't understand that. And one of the things that it does with my videos is it's done this from the get-go. And I do realize that's probably because I post a lot of different topics underneath the homesteading niche. I don't isolate it to like just chickens or just food or whatever. I see what content is suggesting my videos, and it is not even close. Like it is not even in the homesteading realm. It's like dance videos, like how to do like, I don't know, do this popular dance, and it'll recommend like my video about our lambs dying. Like it's so not related, and I'm like, how they're not going to click on that? Like that's not even close to in the realm of what they're watching right now. So it makes me wonder, like, how is YouTube? Who are they giving my content to? Because sometimes it just doesn't seem like it adds up. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna try to figure out the algorithm, because like Jan was saying, I'm just gonna keep doing me and whatever it is,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And but I totally get what you've been saying. And I mean, I'm trying to think, did I miss any other points that you made in that video?
I'm trying to think. I don't recall. Again, I should have rewatched my own video, but after you edit it, like you're kind of done with it.
Well, there's a good point, and that'll buy you some time to think.
Sure.
There's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we lost Sarah. She's coming back. There you are.
Oh, did it cut out?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Let me just look at a couple of once you can tap into the algorithm, seeing where you connect, it's a snowball of them serving it up correctly.
Oh,
Interesting.
that's good to know.
I ripped into YouTube. They don't even have a grouping for homesteading. When they asked, what content do you put out? What type of channel do you consider your channel to be? It wasn't even a category. Yeah, people in vlogs was what I go with.
Yeah.
Because I'm not always doing how to. It depends,
Yeah, same. And I thoroughly I like watching vloggy type videos. And so I do enjoy making those kind. I realize that the only people that really want to watch those are people that have maybe invested into me as a person.
And Monica.
And that's fine. What's that?
And Monica at Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
She's funny. Yeah.
But,
I don't know what I was going to say. I totally lost my train of thought there.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're good. This is just me. This is what I do. I lose my train of thought all the time.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, to me, it's more about the vlog and making the connection with somebody and seeing what's going on with people and what's going on with their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I love that.
And when you look at some of the really large homesteaders, right? There are, hey Gwen, Broke Cowgirl Homestead. There are and I'm going to very broadly say this, I'm not naming names, but if you look at the really large ones, right, in the homestead community, there are clickbaiters.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
There are people who have money backing them.
Mm-hmm. I see
Right.
that a lot.
That's the reality.
Yep.
And if somebody can do a vlog where all they do is, I'm trying to say how to say this nicely. I think I'm going to pass on that one. They can do a vlog and all you see is the one person doing the work. How about we say that?
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of challenging too. You know, like Ryan is a part of my channel. You'll see him when we're doing projects. Otherwise, you won't see him. Why? Because he doesn't want to do it.
Same with my husband.
And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's okay. When I need something explained because I feel it's easier for him to explain, say, a mechanical repair versus teach me how to say it and then I flub it.
Yeah, right.
It's got more credibility coming from him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was actually very grateful for, like, with my husband, the first year that I did this, he allowed me to record him making some videos of things that we do around the homestead. And those are some of our best videos, you know, because he's really good with his words. He's thorough in explaining. And I was able to record him and edit it, and he was hands off on that part of it. So he was like, that's fine. You record me, do it, that's fine. But since then, you know, he's decided he doesn't necessarily want to be part of it, and that's totally fine. So it is interesting, though, because when it comes to certain parts of our homestead, it's not me doing it, so I don't record it. So, like, you know, I don't really record much of the sheep anymore because I'm not the one doing sheep stuff. My husband tends to the sheep. And so that's just not a huge part of our channel anymore. Not that it was a huge part, but it was something I touched on a little bit more. But now it's kind of just in the background. It's something that we have, but we don't touch on a lot. And that's okay. So most of what you're going to see is things that I actually tend to. You know, or just kind of general overview topics that we've discussed or whatnot, or even just I'm totally comfortable sharing like personal thoughts and opinions, which I've done a few of those kind of videos too. So
I've tried. So Northern Girl Hobbies, Jen says, try some clickbait. Why not just be real about it? Just use a silly thumbnail and intro. Well, it's funny because Ryan and I had a private joke, and, you know, based on the clickbait thumbnails. So I don't know, it was when he was cutting a tree and it went down and hit the meat bird pens. And he goes, you have to promise me that you will title that, "Is This the End of Yogi Hollow Farm?"
Oh, that would be so good.
Right. Well, I told him, I was like, no, I'm not doing that because it's not factual. Because I don't want to do that to my viewers, right? So, but I'm okay with grabbing, right? Attention grabbing. And so I did something, and I can't remember what I said. This turned out bad. Right? And I had to change it because YouTube was flagging it and wouldn't let me do something with it in the checking process.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why I did that.
It was so weird. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that's the thing. And I agree with Sage and Stone, because the clickbait just becomes so frustrating to viewers because all they're doing is expecting something to happen and then nothing happens.
Right. And I think that's the hard part too, because I do try to get creative with my thumbnails and how I label things, because I realize, like, I mean, we do see our, you know, our analytics. And so I don't have awesome retention, but which is interesting because I do feel like I change, you know, they say to change your angles, do this, don't do a long intro. I don't do any, like, I do change my like angles a lot. I don't have a long intro. I don't really have an intro anymore. You know, and I try to keep people's attention. So I try not to be clickbaity, but I do try to grab the attention with the title or thumbnail. But that just doesn't seem to work out well for me. You know, some people are really good at that.
Yeah.
I took some bunny poop and I spray painted it with gold paint, and I thought, this one's gonna be it. This one's gonna be a great thumbnail. People are gonna want to see why a bunny costs $8,000. No, it's like 80 views. It's one of my lowest videos ever. Nobody cares about my $8,000 bunny, okay? Even if I spray paint poop gold.
Hey, Mountain Grandma. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
So
You know, one thing I do notice, is if you have something bad happen to you,
yeah,
people want to watch.
well, that's true. That's true. I you know, just the sad video that I posted the other day.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a whole lot of likes on it, which is understandable. You know, you don't really want to like a sad video sometimes, but it is getting a decent amount of views, and it's not really a lot of my subscribers that are watching it. So people are like, oh, well, what's so sad?
Yeah.
So
I don't have a mod tonight.
Depressing.
Jen at Northern Girl Hobbies, I don't have a mod tonight. So you'd have to go to Sarah's channel, unfortunately. This is not a night I usually do a mod, so.
Oh.
How long ago was the Golden Poo video?
Maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Do you know the title, Sarah?
Off the top of my head, no, something, but it is, okay, so here's what I did with that video. I realized I did deliver on why our bunny cost $8,000, but I wrapped it in with the bunny hutch. And so we got a hutch from, I don't even know how to say the company. It's like Ivituvian or Ituvian. I forget what it's called. But their hutch is great, but I did it was a collaboration with them. And so I included the unboxing and stuff of that in that video. And because it wasn't directly to why our bunny cost $8,000, people probably clicked off of it right away and they never got to the answer.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't interesting enough to get there. So I understand why it happens like that sometimes, but in my head at the time, I was like, oh, I like this one. This one's going to be creative and good. And then it just doesn't nail it. And that's fine. We learn throughout this process.
Absolutely.
And again, just trying to exercise that creative outlet for me. And that's just, it's funny to me that I spray painted bunny, like actual bunny poop gold, and thought it was going to do a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Xander, I forgot Mountain Grandma was, but I didn't plan on a mod for tonight is what it boiled down to. Thanks, Mountain Grandma. I appreciate you doing that. I bet it's because it looks like an ad. Hold on. Oh my gosh, this thing just moved. Let me put this on the screen. People just will not click if it looks like an ad, which is sad. Companies want you to put their name in the title, but it trashes CTR. Yep.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know, Alfonso.
Seems to me that I should. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that because you might be kicked out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good advice there.
So just thinking back, I don't know, do we cover everything?
I don't know. I guess I didn't have necessarily anything in particular. I just enjoy chatting with you, and I thought this was a great topic for us to chat about because it's reality, you know. And some people talk about like scripting things too, and that's just not me. I just fly by the seat of my pants. So
Me too.
Yep.
And I'll tell you how fly by the seat of my pants I am. Like I know, like I have the topic in mind, and I say, okay, I'm gonna do a garden tour video, right?
Yep.
So earlier in the week, I said, I'm going to do a garden tour video. I said that to myself all day long. Got busy doing stuff. And then it's tourist season here. We've cut trees down, so it's a little louder by the road.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I probably should wait till the morning. So it was funny because I was by my garlic bed, which is out back by a main road. And I'm like, oh, I can't deal with this traffic noise tonight. And it was funny. I said, let's wait. Well, lo and behold, that evening, the hailstorm hits.
Oh,
And I was
that's
like, the gardens went from freaking beautiful
yeah.
to pummeled, but thankfully our hail
Mhm.
netting worked. But I was like, this is just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
that's a good example of like you get it in your head, but I'm never going to script myself because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not genuine.
No, same. Yeah. I've seen so many people say you have to script this and you have to script that. There's no way I'm scripting anything. Everything is off the top of my head. Like, yes, like you're saying, I get an idea. I'm, at work, I have a lot of like time to think when I'm with a client. And so I have the ability to kind of like think things through on how I want things to go and be like, oh, that's a good idea or whatnot, like brainstorming. But I don't think I've ever written anything down on a piece of paper besides like a video idea. Like, oh, I want to make zucchini bread. Write that down so I don't forget.
Right.
So something like that. But yeah.
The only time I've written stuff down is like if it's a collaboration and I don't want to forget
Mhm.
it. If
Mhm.
like I may have written stuff down just so I don't
Yeah.
screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But it's not necessarily a script per se. It's
Mhm.
just like bulleted items. Like I'll put like live and then I'll put the date
Mhm.
and the time so I don't screw that up. But I think that that's really helpful. Gwen
Yeah.
says, I can't remember what I ate yesterday, much less something scripted. No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, another thing is when you're doing collaborations, like, each collaboration has different, sometimes it's just an open collab. Sometimes it's like, okay, I need you to say this in your video and this and mention this playlist or whatever. And so there is times I'm like, okay, I need you to remember to say this, and this, and put this on the thumbnail and make sure I tag this person. So that's definitely that kind of stuff. You makes you want to get it right if you're participating in somebody's collaboration.
For
I write
sure.
that stuff down for sure.
For sure. And then the
Yeah.
collaborations that I've joined now are only the ones that like I feel that fit homesteading
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I've
Yep.
done ones that I didn't, and that was my own stupidity.
Mhm.
But I did again with the sponsorship, right? So when the sponsorship comes when you hit a certain point and everybody wants to give you something.
Mhm.
And I get emails, tons of emails during the day, which blows my mind because we're not
Mhm.
a large channel. But
Mhm.
every day I get tons of these people who want
Yeah.
to sponsor us for something, and I tell them no,
Yep.
like, or I don't answer. I just
Mhm.
let it go.
Right.
And so the only time that I have accepted it is if it was a product I felt would help homesteaders or it was something we wanted. I'll admit it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? And I would do all of that, but that's the point I'm getting to, Sage and
Mhm.
Stone. There was a channel, I'm not going to name their names. Um, when you get those emails, please don't click on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like find out information first. Like,
Mhm.
I can tell you when Super Clean reached out to me, I knew Super Clean was a thing.
Mhm.
I researched the person who signed the email to make sure they work for the company.
That's smart.
I've done the same because you get scammy links, they will take your channel down.
Mhm. That just happened to, was it
Uh,
Rose Homestead?
maybe we're talking about the same person. I don't want to throw the
Mhm.
name out there, but somebody had that problem.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
that just makes me
Yeah.
so
It's so
scared for
fascinating.
people.
It's so sad.
So you
Yeah,
get
that
those,
kind of stuff. Because you pour so much time and effort into that, and for it to just be taken away in an instant because you clicked on something like that stinks so bad.
and you see people a lot who are like posting reviews all the time about things.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, I got that email. And I'm thinking to
yeah,
myself, was I lucky or
mhm,
was that person lucky? You know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's kind of scary too. You
yeah,
know, I
definitely.
mean, like the garden bed thing, when they reached out, I had to research them because I didn't believe it was a real company. I went through the whole thing, looking for the spelling errors and all that kind of
Mhm,
stuff and the
mhm.
tenses. Um, but I was thankful to get the garden bed,
Yeah,
because it ended up being legit. But like Sage and Stone was saying earlier, sometimes they do have that contract with you where you have to do certain things
mhm.
for the video.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, that was my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done some things too where, yeah, I've accepted an offer from companies or whatever, they send you the item, but I've tried to always make it something, like you said, either is beneficial for homesteaders, can be very useful, or like something that we legit need or you can use in that moment. I think there's only one that like didn't make sense, and it was like an instant coffee, but I actually was like, but I drink coffee all the time, so like it makes sense for me. But
Yeah,
otherwise it's been like, yeah, like a rabbit hutch, or like, boots. We use boots all the time for everything. So comparing different companies too actually can be really beneficial for people out there looking for boots. So I think that kind of stuff can be super helpful if people are going to YouTube to seek information on a product. So I'm more than happy to help out where when stuff like that is available.
absolutely. Are you able to see and hear me?
I can see and hear you.
Okay, I just asked because I went to post a comment and for the first time ever it said having trouble connecting. But
Oh,
um the last thing I wanted to say on that was from the garden bed, just if you're a small YouTuber.
yeah.
Um and I've said this before on another live. They approached us and were going to offer us a bed.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, the bed that they were offering that I saw everybody else getting, I said, that doesn't help me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I said to them, I responded and said, yes, we're interested. This is the bed we would like to review.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
sent it to us.
Yes. I did that same thing with the bunny hutch. They actually offered me a chicken coop. I was like, I got chicken coops. My husband builds them like Fort Knox. I don't need a little chicken coop.
Yeah,
So I was like, but I could use a bunny hutch. So, and they're like, sure, done deal. Send it to you.
yep,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, any last words? Because we're at our hour and I try to be
Mhm.
respectful of your time because I know it's later by you than it is me.
Yep, all good. No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm just so grateful that you were willing to host tonight and have me on. And I think this kind of conversation is can be very valuable and almost like validating for people on this journey, because they're like, okay, I felt that way. It's good to know that other people feel that way, or that they're experiencing this, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I agree. And does anybody in the comments have any questions or anything that we've talked about? Hey, Marianne 2209. Thank you. I think the other thing to point out is sorry, guys, but we're all not going to be famous.
No.
Like, not that I want to be, but we're all not going to make it, guys. That's just
Right.
reality because I'm probably not everyone's cup of tea because I'm so
Mhm.
raw.
Mhm.
I'm not very articulate.
Mhm.
Um, and so there you go. I'm just me.
Yeah. And we love you, Lisa.
Yeah, and that's fine. I love you too, but it's okay if you don't love me.
Right, right. Nope, same. Yep, I feel the same way. And it's just one of those things too where again, I always want to tie it back to like goals for your channel and being okay with not being, the 700,000 subscriber channel. You find where you're comfortable, and when it stops being fun, then maybe reevaluate it, because I don't know if it's worth losing yourself over.
It's not. It is
Yeah.
not. I talked about that earlier in the live. It is not.
Mhm. Right.
I think the other thing too, and I'm sorry because it just came to my brain and then I'm going to let us go, but
Mhm.
I want your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
There's 5 million homesteaders out there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Some of us missed the boat starting after the 2020 stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. That's a reality too.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Um, it is now flooded
Mhm.
in the marketplace. So it is
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
And I prefer to have a community of connected people who really care about what's going on
Yeah.
back and forth, right?
Right.
I think sometimes I think sometimes the reality of it is value the people you have
Mhm.
versus worrying about gaining more.
Yes.
Does
Yes. I
that
love that. I
does that
love
make
that.
sense?
Yep. And that's definitely something to always keep in check too. Like you were saying before, like you don't know, 2,500, 2,700 people in person. Like the fact that like I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers, I'm like, I don't know 2,000 people. So at
Right.
So even if they're not watching, like I don't have a ton of regular subscribers or regular watchers, but at some point somebody said, I like that, and I'm choosing to subscribe to this person. And that's
Right.
awesome. Like I'm really happy about that. That's really great. And at some point, maybe because if you subscribe to somebody and then you go to search something, you're more likely to be recommended to that person. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I liked that video on this. Maybe I'll like what they have to say on this topic too. And so, yeah, just being grateful for everybody who has taken a moment to choose you. I think that's super important to keep in mind.
Absolutely. And the other thing is too, is sometimes people have I don't like the word niche. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's something about a particular channel
Mm-hmm.
that makes them unique.
Yes.
There's not much that makes me unique. Right. No, but the meaning like, if you found out I was a downhill skier,
Mm-hmm.
bad example, but downhill skier, you might be more drawn to me because I may be posting that kind of stuff
Mm-hmm.
or things about me, and you're interested because you have similar interests,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Right.
But sometimes people have that one little unique thing about you
Mm-hmm.
that makes you grow and grow and grow.
Right.
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 Well, and then there's 4 million of the rest of us out here
Mm-hmm.
just being homesteaders.
Right. Totally. Yep. Some people have that thing, and that thing is found by the people who are watching them, and that allows them to grow exponentially, like very quickly. And that's
Yep.
totally fine. That's not for everybody. Not everybody
Right.
has that thing. And sometimes we don't even know, and sometimes we have a thing, but we don't know what it is. And so we can't even like express that thing to people on the internet. But in real life, people know that thing,
Right.
but it's not something that portrays online, and that's okay too.
Yeah. And Alexander said, excuse me, they are just better at explaining things than others. Yeah. And
Yeah.
if here's the thing, if you know me, the way that I explain things horribly on YouTube is the way I explain things horribly in life. I could do 50 takes, but staging it just doesn't feel real to me, so I
Yeah.
won't do it.
Right.
It's called unconscious competence, I think. But Nick said he can vouch. I'm going to keep your anonymity, Nick. But like you have no idea why it's working, but it is, LOL.
Yeah. That's
Well,
awesome.
everybody, I appreciate you coming so much. And thank you for being here. Like I said, it was a pop-up live. And Sarah, thank you again for posting your video and for coming on and taking the time out of your busy life to talk with me about this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Lisa, and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining in tonight. We are very grateful for each and every one of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great night.
Yes. Have a great night, guys.